What's up, everybody? This is Domingo Hero Network, and today's Yu-Gi-Oh video I'm going to be doing, guys, I am going to be doing a deck profile. And the deck profile I'm going to be doing in this video is going to be my updated version of my Lunalight deck profile, and also this is going to be for the post-ban list, the current ban list we got now at this moment. So this is going to be for the post-ban list. And of course, there is one card that came out the ban list, and now that card is limited to one. And of course, the card I'm talking about is Lunalight Tiger. We're going to get to that throughout this deck profile. And of course, guys, this is a pure version, my pure version of a Lunalight deck profile. Of course, I know some people play like a different type of deck, like the one with Zodiacs. There's the one with Tri-Brigades, which they're good. But me, I'm more of a pure player. I just like to play decks that are pure and, just for fun and having good, And Lunalights is a really good fun deck. I actually love this deck. One of my favorite decks, Lunalights. And another thing about it, I see some Lunalight players that play Lunalights, like the Tri-Brigade version. They don't play like the future. They just like to focus more on the rank 4 XYZ monster plays and link plays. Now, I will say that version of Lunalight is good. But me, I just love playing the one with the fusion. Because I feel like, I love that version of Lunalights, focus like on the fusions, as you can see right here. Definitely love that version. I feel like the version is pretty good. Focus on the fusions, stuff like that. So I do play some fusions in this deck, and also some links in this deck as well. So I'm going to show you guys the main deck and the extra decks, as well as playing all my card choices and ratios. So let's not waste any time. So without further ado, let's get the deck profile started. So here we go. We're going to start off with the main deck. We're going to start off with the monsters. So we're going to do the pendulum. So here we go. The first card I want to show you is the card I mentioned. Came out the ban list. This card is limited to one now, so now we get a chance to play it. One copy of Lunalight Tiger. Lunalight Tiger is amazing. Like, this card is so good. Very happy that this card came out the ban list, of course. And even this card is at 1, hell, it's still pretty good. So if you guys want to know what Tiger does, Tiger has two effects. First, the pendulum effect says once per turn, you could target one Lunalight monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot attack. Its effect is negated and also destroyed during the end phase. So it's like an instant Monster Reborn, but for Lunalight, so it's pretty good. And then the monster effect version says if this card on the field is destroyed by battle or by card effect, and you can target one Lunalight monster in graveyard special summon, you can only use this effect on Lunalight target once per turn. So it's pretty cool, it's a monster reborn, when it's either get destroyed stuff or in the pendulum effect, you could spread some as well. And also, like I said, it's a pendulum, so that way you can even go pendulum summon this one as well if you want to. So it does come up at times. But Tiger, you're gonna need it for the monster reborn for your Lunalight test, so that you can go for your combos and place the resources and stuff. Really good card to play. Now, speaking of pendulum, I do play the other pendulum monster, and that is 3 copies of Lunalight Wolf. Wolf is pretty good. Like playing as Lunalight Wolf. Pretty good card to play. Another good pendulum monster to play. It's pretty good. I like it at 3 because, he has like a miracle fusion effect for Lunalights, and what he does is his pendulum effect says, you cannot pendulum summon except for Lunalight monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Once per turn, you can fusion summon one Lunalight monster fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion monster listed on it from your field or graveyard. So that's like a miracle fusion, but for Lunalights, and then it's set, and then his monster effect. If a Lunalight monster you control attack and defense fusion monster flip piercing damage, but you're mostly gonna use him for the pendulum effect, so that way you can go fusion summon for your Lunalights and stuff. So Wolf is pretty good, and of course you're gonna need to play 3, so it's pretty good. Alright, now we're gonna move on to the monsters. So the first monsters I'm gonna show you is I play 3 copies of Lunalight Kalladio Chick and 3 copies of Lunalight White Rabbit. So these are the cards I play at 3 because I think 3 of these is better. So Kalladio Chick is a very good card because it helps you go for your fusion plays. So what this card does is once per turn, you can send one Lunalight monster from your deck or extra card to the graveyard. The name of this face-up card becomes the name of the field. It can be treated as the set monsters. If used as a fusion material this turn, if this card is sent to the graveyard if this card is used as a fusion material this turn, and if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one polarization in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use this effect on Lunalight Kalladio once per turn. And the other effect says if this card is banished, you can activate this effect this turn, but your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated during the battle phase. So it's pretty good. Basically protect your Lunalight monsters in the battle phase and prevent your opponent from activating cards by banishing for the graveyard. And it's really good. It's a really good card for your fusion plays and stuff. you know, by sending a Lunalight monster either from your deck or extra deck. Like, you can even send Lunalight Cat Dancer, and you can easily go Fusion, and so that way Chick's name become Cat Dancer, and you can help you go easy to go to Panther Dancer. So it's pretty cool. And White Rabbit is pretty good as well. White Rabbit is a monster reborn, but for Lunalights, and its effect says when this card is normal summon, you can target one Lunalight monster in your graveyard, except for White Rabbit, special summon in defense position. And then the second effect says once per turn, you can target spells and traps your opponent control up to the numbers of other Lunalight cards you control and return them to the hand. So basically, bounce back your opponent's spells and traps to the hand. So it's pretty cool as well. Like a compulsory, so it's pretty good. They have to play 3 of each of these, so they're really good. Alright, next cards I'm going to show, the next Lunalight cards I'm going to show you is I play 2 copies of Lunalight Emerald Bird, 2 copies of Lunalight Yellow Marten, and 2 copies of Lunalight Black Sheep. These are the cards I play at 2s. You know, I think 2 of these are fine. Really good cards to play. So Emerald Bird, love this card. It's basically your, you know, your draw power in the deck and also other places as well. It effect says that this card is normal special summon. You can send one Lunalight card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, draw 1 card. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one of your level 4 lower Lunalight monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, except for Emerald Bird, and special summon in defense position, but its effect is negated. Of course, you can use each effect once per turn. Really good card, draw power, and then a monster born for Lunalights as well. You can send any Lunalight card, could be a monster, could be a spell, could be a trap, so it's pretty good. Yellow Marten, you know, another good card as well, and Yellow Marten, you know, her effect says, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target one Lunalight card you control, and, you know, return it to the hand. And if you do, special summon this card in defense position, but banish this card when it leaves the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add one Lunalight spell tracker from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Yellow Marten once per turn. So search for your Lunalight spells and traps, and also you can special summon it from your hand or graveyard by targeting any Lunalight card you control and return it to the hand. Special summon Yellow Marten. If you have like a Pendulum Monster, like your Tiger or your Wolf, bounce it to the hand, special, then activate them again in the Pendulum Zone. So it's pretty good. Black Sheep is another card that is good at 2. It's a searcher for your polarization. So you discard to your hand, you know, add, you know, one polarization from next to your hand. And also has another effect where you can add one Lunalight monster from your graveyard to your hand. Except for Black Sheep. And then the other effect says that this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion summoning. You can add to your hand one face-up Lunalight Pendulum monster from your extra deck, or one Lunalight monster from your graveyard and add it to your hand. So that's pretty good. So it's pretty good. Fusion card that help you go for your polarization, and that way you can go to your fusion place and stuff. So it's pretty good. So 2 of each of these are fine. And now we're gonna round up the 1-ups to round up the monsters. 1 copy of Lunalight Purple Butterfly, 1 copy of Lunalight Blue Cat, and the 1 copy of Lunalight Crimson Fox to round off the monsters in this deck. So Purple Butterfly, you know, it's fine, you know, it's okay. What this card does, you know, you can send this card from your hand to the or field to the graveyard, target one Lunalight monster you control, gains the, you know, Lunalight gains 1,000 attack until the end phase of this turn. You can and the other effect is that you can ban this card from your graveyard, especially on one Lunalight monster from your hand. Of course, you can only use the effect of Purple Butterfly once per turn. Pretty good, you know, especially on Lunalight from your hand. And also, you know, target Lunalight when you control. Gain that 1,000 attacks in the end phase. So it's pretty good, especially if you want to do it on your fusion monsters. And then you go your combos and place and stuff. And then we got Blue Cat, you know, another okay card as well. I know not a lot of Lunalight players play the Butterfly and the Cat, but I do play them as a 1-up because, you know, their effects sometimes it can come off. So Blue Cat's effect says if his card is special summon, you can target one Lunalight monster you control. Except for Blue Cat, its attack becomes double its original attack until the end phase of the turn. You can only use that effect once per turn. And the other effect says if the card is on the field, is destroyed by battle. Card effect special on one Lunalight monster from your deck. Pretty good. And then you also got Crimson Fox. Crimson Fox is another 1-up as well. You know, 1 Crimson Fox is all you need. You don't need to play multiples of her. And the effect says that this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect. You can target one face-up monster opponent control, change its attack points to 0 until the end phase. And then the other effect says when a card or effect is activated that targets a Lunalight monster you control, quick effect, banish this card from your graveyard and negate the evacuation. If you do, each player gains 1,000 life points. So it's pretty good, negating any card that targets a Lunalight monster. by banishing Crimson from the graveyard, and then, you know, target a face-up monster your opponent control, make its attack points go down to 0 to the end phase. It does help out in time, so it's pretty good. So one of each of those. Alright, guys, so that's got to be it for the monsters. Now we're going to be moving on with the spells. So the spells, I play 3 copies of Lunalight Perfume. This is a card you always got to play at 3. It's your Monster Reborn, but for Lunalights. So Lunalight Perfume has an effect where you can target one Lunalight monster in graveyard, special summon it, and the other effect says you can banish this card from your graveyard, and then discard 1 card, and then you know, add 1 Lunalight monster from your deck to your hand. So it searches for a Lunalight monster from your deck to your hand. Of course, you have to discard 1 card to do it, and then there's a Monster Reborn. So this card at 3 is pretty good, and also you can send this card for the deck with Foolish Burial Goods, so that way you can get the banishing effect. And next we have 2 copies of Lunalight Fusion. Lunalight Fusion, you know, is the fusion card for your Lunalight, so it's a card pretty good. Of course, it has the same effect as Polymerization, but only for Lunalights. You know, you got to fusion summon Lunalight Fusion for your extra game by sending the materials from your hand that feels as materials. And the other effect says if your opponent controls a monster that was special summon for the extra deck, you can also use 1 Lunalight monster from your deck or extra deck as a material. Of course, you could only activate 1 Lunalight for fusion per turn, so it's pretty good as well. So that's actually pretty good. And also, you can actually send this card for your deck using the effect of your Predator Plant Verte Anaconda. So that also helps as well, because once you have this in your deck, and then you can go to Verte and then use Verte effect, and it becomes Lunalight Fusion, and you can go for your fusion plays like that as well. So it's pretty good. And speaking about that, I also play other fusion cards. There's other fusion spells that I play that can also be used for Verte as well, and that's the 2 copies of Polymerization and the 2 copies of Super Polymerization. So these are the cards I play. They can be used with Verte. Once you go for your Verte and Anaconda, you can send this card to ground. And also Polymerization does search with Black Sheep, so it's pretty good. And Super Poly is amazing because, you know, you do play the Super Poly targets and stuff, and it really helped out a lot. Alright, next cards I play in the deck. So we're going to go for the other spells that I play. I play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness, since almost every of your Lunalight monsters are dark. The only ones that are not dark is the Pendulums, but other than that, Allure of Darkness has really helped. That was a good draw power in there, because you do need to play 3 of these. And then I also play 3 copies of Regenki, because, you know, getting rid of all your opponent's monsters with Regenki is amazing. And the fact that Regenki is at 3, thanks to the current ban list we got, is amazing. Alright, next for back row removal, I do play 2 copies of Twin Twisters. Play this over Harvey's Feather Duster and MSTs and other back row spells, because, you know, Twin Twisters does help. And also you can discard cards like your Perfume and stuff like that as well, so it does help at times, so it's good. And next I do play 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods and the 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Of course, with Foolish Burial Goods, you're going to send your Lunalight Perfume and your track card, the Lunalight Saber Dance with Foolish Burial Good. And also Foolish Burial, you can send your Lunalight monsters like your Crimson Fox or any other monster. Hell, if you got Foolish Burial with White Rabbit, you can send one of your Lunalight monsters, send it, and then you can normal summon your White Rabbit and special summon that Lunalight monster from the graveyard stuff. So it's pretty good. And lastly, for the one-offs to round off the spells, 1 copy of Monster Reborn and 1 copy of Fire Animation Tanky to round off the spells. Of course, Monster Reborn is a really good extending card. And Tanky, you know, you only got to play 1 because it's limited. Since your Lunalight monsters are Beast Warriors, you can actually search for them with Tanky, so it's pretty good. Is Tanky good at 1? Yes, it does. So it's really good. Even though Tanky is at 1, it's still pretty good. So yeah. Alright, so now we're going to move on with the traps. Now, this is a card, in my opinion, I feel like 1's not good enough. I always play this card 3 because I feel like 3 is better. And that's 3 copies of the Lunalight Saber Dance. So yeah, I know people play this card 1. I like it at 3. I feel like 3 is better in my opinion. Honestly, I do love Saber Dance at 3. So if you want to know what it is, it's a continuous trap. Also, you can send this card for your data with Foolish Burial Goods. So its effect says when the fusion monster fusion summon, except during the damage of target one of them, you can target one of those monsters, apply the effect in sequence. Of course, the first effect says special summon a Lunalight token, Beast Warrior, Dark Attribute level 4, attack and defense is 2000 to your opponent's field. Then the other effect, second effect says that target gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls, even if this card leaves the field. And the other effect says, during your main phase, you can banish card from your graveyard, send one card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you just press summon one Lunalight monster from your deck. And of course, you can only use each of these effects of Saber the Dam once per turn, so it's pretty good. So it's pretty good. It's a really good continuous trap, so it's good. And then the last trap that I play, I only play one of this. I know not a lot of Lunalight players play this card. I played one copy of Lunalight Reincarnation Dance, so only one, because I know not a lot of Lunalight play. So I do play this card because the effect is pretty good, you know. But there's like other cards that are better than this. That's why we don't play it. But I do play this one because, you know, it comes up at times. So what it does is, if a monster you control is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can add up to 2 Lunalight monsters from your deck to your hand. And of course, you're going to only activate 1 Reincarnation Net per turn. So that's why I play just for the search. Alright, so that's it for the main deck. Now we're going to move on to the extra deck, guys. So we're going to start off with the fusion. So I do play 2 copies of Lunalight Cat Dancer, 2 copies of Lunalight Panther Dancer, 2 copies of Lunalight Leo Dancer, and the 1 copy of Lunalight Saber Dancer. So these are the fusions that I play. 2 of each of these and only 1 Saber Dancer is enough. It's pretty cool. Of course, you can even go to Verte and fusion some of these as well. So these cards are really good fusions to play. So Cat Dancer is pretty good because, you know, he's the easiest one because, you know, it could be any 2 Lunalight monsters to summon them out. Of course, his effect, you know, cannot be destroyed by battle. And then once per turn during your main phase, you contribute 1 other Lunalight monster. And then for the rest of the turn, the first time monsters your opponent control would be destroyed by battle, it's not destroyed. And also, this card can attack all monsters your opponent control twice each this turn. If this card declares an attack, inflict 100 damage to your opponent. So that's a really good effect by Cat Dancer. And then we got Panther Dancer. Of course, one of the fusion materials you're going to summon now, you know, with it is, of course, the Cat Dancer as well. So Panther Dancer is really good because, you know, must first be fusion summoned with the above fusion material. And the effect says cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effects once per turn. During your main phase 1, you can activate this effect for the rest of the turn. The first time each monster your opponent control will be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. Also, this card can attack all monsters your opponent control twice each this turn. If this card destroys an opposed monster by battle, this card gains 200 attack until the end of the battle phase. Pretty good card, Panther Dancer. Panther is really, really good. And also we got Leo Dancer. Leo Dancer is another good fusion card as well. And what he does is must be fusion summoned with the above fusion materials. Its effect says your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect. So that's pretty good. And the effect says this card can make a second attack during each battle phase once per turn. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacks a monster, you can destroy all special summon monsters you're putting in control. Really good card to play. Love it. You know, attack twice, destroy all special summon monsters. Really good. And then we got Saber Dancer. Another good fusion material. Of course, his fusion material requires 3 Lunalight monsters, but it could be any 3 Lunalight monster. And the effect of this card says, you know, must be fusion summoned. Gains 200 attack for each Beast Warrior monster that is banished or in your graveyards. And your opponent cannot target this card with card effects during your main phase except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish card in the graveyard, target 1 fusion monster you control. It gains 3,000 attack until the end phase of the turn. You can only use each of this effect of Saber Dancer once per turn. So it's pretty good. Like, you know, cannot be targeted, and then, you know, it gains the 200 attack. And also, you know, if you have like any of these other fusions while this card's in the graveyard, banish, it gains 300, and you can go for your OTKs in that game right there. So really good. So these are, I actually love this ratio, you know, 2, 2, and 1. So basically like 7 of the Lunalight fusions you got to play. So it's pretty good. Now we're going to move on to the other fusion monsters. These are the Super Poly Target, 1 copy of Starting Venom Fusion Dragon, and 1 copy of Predator Plant Dracostipelia. You got no need to explain these effects. You guys know what their effects does. But these cards, you know, fuse, you know, Super Poly Targets. It's really amazing. Like, these are so easy to summon because of their fusion materials. Like, you know, this one, you know, requires any 2 dark monsters. This one requires 1 dark monster, 1 fusion monster to summon these out. Super Poly Target, and of course, you know, Verte and all that stuff, so it's pretty good. And next, that's it for the fusion. Now we're going to move on to the links, guys. First one we got is 1 copy of the Predator Plant Verte Anaconda. Anaconda is amazing. You know, this is the card that helps you go for your fusion plays. So, and he has 2 effects. You know, once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster field. That monster becomes a dark. then until the end phase. And then the second phase, you pay 2,000, send any fusion monster for the fusion cards, spell cards, deck to the graveyard. It could be your Lunalight Fusion, your Super Pods, or your Polymerization, and it'll be treated as that fusion card. So this card, Vertan, is amazing. Like Anaconda, really good card for your fusion decks as well. It's amazing. Like, it's really, really good. Alright, as far as the other Link monsters I play, one copy of Dark to Dark Charmer Gloomy, one copy of Wee Witch Apprentice, one copy of Firefighting Dromadol, one copy of the Deco Talker, and the last Link monster to round out the extra deck, one copy of Warlord Dragon. So these are the rest of the links that I play. Gloomy is pretty good since all the Lunalight monsters are dark. Of course, it has an effect where you can target one dark monster and your opponent's grave special summon it. And of course, if you face heroes and then you summon out the dark, what dark monster are you gonna steal from your opponent's graveyard? DPE. So that's pretty good. That's why this card is very good, because of that. And then the other effect says that, if this Link's are destroyed by battle, card effect, while it's in this owner's monster zone, you can add one dark monster with 1,500 or less defense for index or hand. You can only use each effect of Gloomy once per turn. Wee Witch Apprentice is also good since, like I said, the Lunalight monsters are dark. The only ones that are not dark is the Pendulums, because they're light attributes. But it's still good because the rest of your Lunalight monsters are dark. So especially if you want to get all the dark monster gains like 500 attack and defense. And all light monster gains lose 500 attack and defense. So it's pretty good. And also if this card gets destroyed, you can add one dark monster from your graveyard to your hand. So it's pretty good. Then we got Firefighting Dromadol. It's pretty good since, all the Lunalight monsters I got are Beast Warriors. So that's pretty good. Of course, this card gains 100 attack for each Beast Warrior or Wind Beast, on the field. And then once per turn, you can target one spell and trap from each field, destroy them, and then when this card is destroyed by opponent's monster by battle, you can target one of your Beast Warrior, or Wind Beast monster that is either banished or in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So it's pretty good. And destroy one spell you control, especially when you have this and tank, you destroy your tank and then destroy a spell trap of your opponent's side. So it's pretty good. Deco Talker and Warlord Dragon, no need to explain their effects. You guys know what they do, so they're pretty good. For my Link 3 and the Link 4, because they do come up at times and they really help out a lot. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed my updated version of my Lunalight deck profile. Like I said, very happy that Lunalight Tiger came out the Banlist. And speaking of Banlist, I think the next Banlist they're going to have to ban Vertan Anaconda, because the card is amazing for future plays. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. So don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe. Post your comments in the comments section. Tell me what you think about my updated version of my Lunalight deck profile. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. So this is Domingo Hero Network. All I can say is take care, have a good day, goodbye everyone, and Domingo Hero Network is signing out. Peace.